I'm not talking about so much kind of a journalism interview. I'm talking about specifically in the context of building products, and the major areas that I typically use interviews for are kind of identifying the discovery, which is identifying new ideas. I'm going to use a fictional startup idea called Haute Couture, and this is a breakfast cereal subscription service idea that I've had. So the first area is making sure that you get the answers that you need. I think this is the big one. When you're doing research, you've got a limited amount of time, you have a limited budget, you have a limited number of people that you're speaking to. Within that time, you answer the key questions. I always start, if I'm going to be doing some interviews, then I always start by writing a plan. And then also, you got to cut the crap. You got to keep it as tight as possible. The next step is about making sure that the conversation starts well. So one thing I like to use an info pack. I will send them like a PDF, a one-page PDF that gives them instructions on where to go, where to show up, what to expect. Like, oh, we'll be talking for this length of time. I'll be asking you questions in these sorts of questions. Then the next thing is a banging intro. Banging is like a British word for like really good. So yeah, a really good intro is really helpful. And I find that if I have a scripted intro where I just run through the same thing for every interview, then it means that the interviews are much more consistent. And then the final piece is the funnel. And what I mean by the funnel is like starting with open questions, easy open questions, and then narrowing down to kind of the more direct, kind of more closed questions at the end. This gives you the kind of maximum kind of breadth at the start and helps you to sort of uncover unexpected stuff. But at the end, you're making sure that you're answering, you're definitely answering kind of any of the leftover questions that you have that haven't been answered. And then I also like the silent technique. So, and one way of getting people to talk more is you ask a question and then they give an answer, and then you just don't say anything. You just kind of stay silent. And then typically people will then just expand. Maybe you can like make a little kind of nod or like a just encouraging nod, and then they'll just expand. And even sometimes that can just be the most revealing way of getting people to provide more information. One thing that I like to do is headline immediately. So if I'm doing an interview, I will schedule, once the interview is booked into my calendar, I will schedule half an hour or 20 minutes after the interview to write my headlines from the interview. And by headlines, I mean the like key, usually going back to my research goals. Maybe one of the research goals was like find out how much people will spend, on breakfast. I would go back and my headline would be, this person typically spends this many pounds per week on breakfast.